Hello Divi Nation and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to download and install our free blog post template for Divi's video game layout pack. This is the final result we're aiming to achieve. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is to head over to this blog post, which I'll link to in the show notes below. So when you arrive on this blog post, you want to scroll down until you get to this area here to download it. So I'm going to click here on get it for free today, add my email address, and then I'm going to click on download. Next, we need to download the files. And you can see they've been downloaded here on the left of my screen. And this has gone into my downloads folder. Next, we need to navigate to this folder. So I'm just going to come over here, show in Finder, and here it is. Next, I need to unzip this file. So I'm going to double click and here it is. It's unzipped and it is right here. So I'm just going to pull this over to the side for a bit because we're going to use this in the next stage. Now, before we add our template, let me just show you what our blog post looks like. So right now, this is the default layout. As you can see, there's no styling to this, but when we install our template, it's going to look way different to this. It's going to be more professional. It's going to be more stylized. Now let's head over to our website. So right now I'm in my WordPress admin dashboard. All I've done is I've scrolled all the way down here to Divi and then clicked on theme builder. So remember that file that we downloaded? We need to install it here. So to install it, we just need to click here on portability and then click on import. Okay, so now I'm going to bring that window, which I pulled to the side a few moments ago. So this is the template that we need to add here. So I'm going to drag it and let go. So make sure these two check marks are on. And the first one is to override the default template on the site. And the second one is to import and override existing assignments. All right, so I'm going to click here on import Divi theme builder templates. Right, so we can see here it has been installed and this is targeting our post template. Okay, so now let's save. And now that we've saved this, let's take a look and see what change has been applied to our blog post. So I'm going to refresh this and now you can see we have a totally different design. And this, I'm sure you can agree with me, looks way much better than what we had earlier on. So as I scroll down, you can see we have a beautiful design here. This is the content area. And we also have our related post here on the bottom. And then we also have a subscribe section here. And then finally, we have our comments area where our visitors can add their comments onto our blogs. All right, so now that we can see that this is the layout that we have, chances are you may want to change these colors to match your own designs. Let me show you how you can do that. So I'm going to come back over here to my theme builder and I'm going to click on this pencil icon. This allows us to go into the builder. All right, so first things first, let's take a look at our backgrounds because this is the first thing that we may need to go in and change. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon on my section settings, click on background, and here we can see we have this dark color. So this is where you can change this to whatever color you want. So as I am scrolling around here, you can see the color in the background here is changing. So quickly, that is how we go in and make changes to our background. Okay, so I'm going to close out of here. Next, let's take a look at this row. So again, I'm going to click on row settings, come over here to background. And this time we have a gradient. That is why we have this shape that we have here. Okay, so again, we can change this color. You can see now it is updating pretty fast. So that is where we can go in and make changes to that. Okay, so I'm going to close out of here. In fact, before I close out of here, oh yes, I thought we had an image here. So let me delete this because I don't really want to make any changes to this. All right, now let's take a look at our dynamic image here. So this is where our featured image would come. So this is what we have here. Okay, so I'm going to click here on this gear icon. And this is going to take us to our divider settings. And when we come over here to our border, we can make our changes to our borders here if we need to do that. But this image here is created dynamically. Okay, let's take a look here at our categories. And again, this is our post categories, and this is dynamic text. So if you want to make changes to this, especially the text, you can just come over here and you can change your font here from default to Rubik, for example, and we can change our font weight to bold. You can see it's updating here as I'm doing that. And if you want to change the colors as well, you can go in and change the colors like that. But of course, I'm going to leave this as it is. Next, we have our text here. So let's say you have a specific font you have on your site that you want to use. You can change your font by coming over here, clicking on this paintbrush icon. And right now we have Rubik, so you can change this to Lato, for example, and this now becomes your main font. We can also change the font colors by just updating it over here on the color palette. So ideally, you want to have a color palette so that when you start adding your colors, it's going to match your whole website. Okay, so I'm going to close out of here. Next, we also have this date, and this date here is dynamic text as well. So you can see it's set to post publish date. Now, let's say I want to change the font. I can just come over here to design, go into text, and let's say we want to make this bold. We can just change it over here, and now you can see it's been updated. Okay, so moving on, we have this text here. Now, pretty much all this is dynamic text. It can be changed the same way. Now, moving on this post content, all we need to do is to click on this gear icon. It takes us into our post content settings. So what we can do here is we can go in and change our fonts. So let's say you change it to Rubik. You can change it to pretty much whatever font you want. But you know what? I'm going to leave it at Lato. And we also have our text color here, which you can change by just cycling through your colors over here. Moving on, we don't have any headings here, but if we had headings, you would come over here and add your headings. So now you can see we have heading 6. And of course, here we need heading 1. And we can just add it like that. All right, so I'm just going to close out of here and move on to the next item, which is our related posts. So for our related posts, I'm going to click on this gear icon and go into my blog settings. So you can decide how many you're going to have here. If you want to have 4, you can just add them and this will update. And now we can see we have 4 of them, but I think this layout looks better with 3. Now, what you can also do here is you can come over here to your elements. And if you want to show your featured image, you can just add it here. And this now will show your featured image. So right now I have these images here. Of course, I know this does not work with a gaming site, but if you wanted to add your images, that is how you add them. But for this layout, they are disabled. Okay, so moving on. If you want to go in and make changes to your text, over here, you can just go in and, for example, for the date, let's say you want to change the date like that. You can change from regular, set this to bold and make it really stand out a little bit. Or you can just change the color completely like that. Okay, actually, I think that looks really nice. You can also do the same over here on the titles. So we're just going to save that. And then moving on, we have our email subscribe area here. So let's go into email opt-in and show you how you can update this. So first things first, you want to make sure that you connect this with your email service provider. And here by default, we have MailChimp. But if you have another company, you can select it on the drop down here. Okay, so if you have Fluent CRM like I do, you can just select your Fluent CRM. And then over here on the list, you can select your list. Click on add, and every time someone adds their name and email address, they're going to be added onto that email list, which means you can send them automated emails. Moving on, we also have a success action here. So you can either redirect people to a specific thank you page or any other page for that matter, or you can just have a message that shows after they subscribe. All right, so let me close out of here. Next, we have this text. So let me show you how you can customize this. Now, all this is just a text module. So if you want to customize the heading here, you can play around with the colors just like that, but I'm going to leave it white. And the text can be customized by coming over here. And again, you know, you can change this text to whatever works for you. Okay, I'm going to close out of that. Now I can see here we have an image in the background. Let me show you how we can customize that. So I'm going to come over here to my background, and you can see we have this dark background, and we also have this image here with all these planet looking items. So we can totally delete this image just by doing that. And perhaps you want a much cleaner layout without any images in the background. So this is what it would look like. Okay, so I'm going to close out of here. Now moving on, we have our social media icons. So I'm going to click on this gear icon. It's going to take me to my social media icons. Now here, the most important thing is you want to make sure that you link them to your social media pages. So let me start here with Facebook so I can show you where to do that. So over here on the link is where you would add it. So I'm just going to paste it like that. So in your case, this needs to be your Facebook page URL. Okay. So back over here, let's say you want to delete something. You can just click here on this bin icon. But if you want to add something, you can just duplicate an existing one. And you can see here that it has been duplicated. Now we have 2 YouTubes. And then all you have to do is to click on this gear icon, click on the drop down, and this is where you can choose whichever social media platform you like. And don't forget to add your link URL. Okay, I'm going to close out of here. Now moving on, we have our comments area here. So all you need to do here as well is to click on this gear icon, go into your comment settings, and in your design, you can pretty much customize every single item. So to make things easier, just highlight here and just target the specific item you want to make changes to. So for example, we have the meta font. You can change the color just by doing that. And let's say you want to change the submit a comment. So you can just target it just like that. And if you want to change the fonts, you can just come over here and change the fonts pretty much throughout the whole thing. But hovering over here and targeting the each item using the paintbrush tool is the best way to do this. All right, I'm just going to close out of here. And pretty much this is how you make changes to your blog post template. So there you have it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and do follow us on our social media platforms. By doing so, you'll be notified every time we release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.